What's up, y'all? This is Rom coming back at you with yet another video. Let me turn my ride on here. Oh, man. Yeah. This is kind of a follow-up to what I was talking about on my main video this morning. About focusing on the right woman. There's different tribes of women. Different types of women, because one mistake I see with some guys, they think all women the same, and they'll complain. They'll say all these women are like this, all these women are like this. No, all the women that you're encountering in your particular group are like that. I always said that's not your tribe right there. That's why I always talk about tribes. But it's even deeper than that, because other than sharing a gender, all women aren't alike. Hell, if you've actually had sex with women and looked at their vaginas, all their vaginas ain't alike. Their personalities ain't alike. But in general, they're not going to be alike, because every woman is going to represent something different. There's more factors than just her gender as to what her personality is going to be like. There's going to be so many factors. I've talked constantly about class. I've talked constantly about subcultures, all of that. Depending on where a woman is, she's going to respond to a man differently. All women don't respond to men the same way. It depends on so many factors. Let me shout out Master Teacher BGS. He talked about the octane model. And since I record my videos early, I'll be talking about this again next week. But let's talk about the octane model, where he talks about the 85s, 87s, 89s, the 92s, the 100s, and the diesels. That's 6 classes of women. Cousin Tito also goes over it. He goes even really deeper on his channel about different classes of women. And, dude was a male exotic dancer, so he's seen them up close. There's going to be different groups of women. If you got a group of women who ain't showing you any love, that just means that ain't your group. Because it's going to depend on so many things. And what one group of women talk about, that doesn't apply to all women. I'll give you an example. There was that panel, and I think it had, Ebony K. Williams on there. And she caused some trouble and everything, but see, she's a professional. She's an attorney and everything. Those are 92 octanes. 92, and had I think Melissa Ford on it, 100 octane. But they gonna complain, but they looking for a certain type of man. You might not be that man. You might not be that professional type of man, or you might not be that baller or something like that. And that's cool. Because you got working class women, you got women, they kind of in that middle range. They might have some college, but they ain't trying to be all corporate and stuff. And that's just one thing, because you also talking about religion. See, we don't talk about that enough, but it's going to be, they're going to respond to different men based on their religion. Based on their religion, their spiritual path. Because there's a big difference between a woman who is a staunch Christian and then a woman who is on some, what people disparagingly call hotep thing, or into some different type of spirituality, or a whole lot of women who are practicing what's considered pagan beliefs and different things. Just like there's a difference between going out with maybe a ratchet woman who practices a certain faith, if she practices a faith at all, versus one, ratchet woman who might have barely got out of high school, versus one who got 4 degrees. It's a different thing. So a man has to understand, if he's trying to look for the right woman and focusing on the right woman, it really starts with him. It starts with him and where he's at. That's the thing. That's the key right there. Where is he at? Because one of the things is, let me be clear on something, because every now and then when I explain stuff like this, people say, well, it's not like this, it's like this. No, motherfucker. No, I got 2 degrees. I've been through like all the classes. I've been among the 85 octane women, the lower class women, but also the upper class women. Even have a couple 100 octanes on the resume. Well, one when she was actively 100 octane, another one who was coming down from that. But I've been with different types of women, different groups of women. And it's totally different how you have to behave with them. Like if you trying to approach, I'm going to tell you the easiest women to approach, where you got to go hard with, are like those more working class women, more, and that's regardless of race. You can go straight up with them, just tell them straight up. But you start dealing with those more women who got professional degrees and they more up there, shoot, you gotta, yeah, you can talk to them, but then at some point you gotta let them know your resume. You gotta let them know, okay, well, yeah, you're an attorney, you're an engineer, something like that. You gotta let them know your status just for them to have the conversation. That's why, you know, when people talk about women going for thugs and stuff, I would say this, because there's somebody invariably always say, well, I seen an upper class woman go for a thug. Did you really? Did you really? Did you know her personally? Because the question I would ask, if you say you know a person, where's she from? Where's she from? Because usually if you see that, then you find out where she's from, who imprinted her. You find out she's from the hood too. But that's still a different group. It's still understanding, because you can't just look at women as just one little group, one group. And they all, and some guys be stupidly, and I stay stupidly thinking they all the things. You got to do a read. Now, if you somebody who's dealt with different groups, different levels, whether it's political, whether it's spiritual, because I've been out with the hardcore Christian women. Also been out with the women, shoot, they ain't making a move without consulting their tarot card. And you start seeing the differences. You got to approach them different. You got to even look a certain way. Hell, you got to even change your speech intonations and everything for them. Like if for whatever reason I wanted like a more lower class type of woman, I'm going to go hard. Lower octane voice and everything, you know? But if I'm going for a more upper class type of woman, then the conversation's going to be more intellectual. But see, that's on me. But it's recognizing as it's different. See, one of the things you got to recognize is, where are you at? Because a lot of guys don't see that. See, when a lot of guys say, well, all women are like that, you ask them, okay, where have you actually socialized? That even works, socialized with different groups. Where have you been to be around different groups? And typically the answer is no. You really ask me, you really press them about it. They've been in one social circle and that's it. But any man who's been in several social circles, interacted with women in different social circles, you see the difference. I always tell the story like way back in the day, and it's still the same thing now. Let me be clear on that, because sometimes I'll say that as people think, well, it's changed now. Motherfucker, where am I now? Am I sitting in my house now, motherfucker? No, I want somebody to say that shit. Shit, and you got some people who see me out in the streets. I know it's just as many people. I met them outside. I ain't sitting in my house. But I'll use this example, and I'll use another example more recent. You know, I was, that example I used, I went to a pool party and then a hotel party. A pool party the night before. That was a more working class crowd. All the women looked the same. You had to behave a certain way. It was a little bit rougher. But then the next night went to a hotel party. These are all professionals, bougies. You know, the women were all fit in shape. Like minimum, we talking minimum 7.5, minimum 7.5. if you're going to use numbers. And it's totally different. And even recent. I got some friends, they in that more upper class thing. You know, a couple years ago, I went to an upper class event. And I never forget, because it was down in Richmond. And on the way down, I had forgotten my watch. I had to stop and get a watch, because I said, nah, maybe a working class crowd don't have to have a watch, but this crowd, oh no, I got to buy a watch. I got to buy a decent watch, because they're going to be looking at that. And the conversation and everything was different. So even now, and you know, even now, I know women, I say everything from an 87 octane to 100 octanes. I know them now. And what they talk about is different. How they look at men, everything. How they even view the world is different. Because if you deal with a professional woman who got a couple degrees and everything, if you deal with a couple women who got some degrees and everything, you know, you can't be talking about just some ordinary, like, what's happening on the latest reality show and stuff like that. They likely to be like, whatever. You got to talk politics with them. And you got to have it, and you can't just say, well, I'm just going to vote. You better be like talking policy and all that other shit with them too. You got to have an intelligent reason why you supporting any candidate or anything like that. But then somebody else, you know, you might have to, because of their religious background, you might have to talk about, like, either like you sticking to your your Muslim diet, or you praising your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. It's different. It depends. And one of the things I say is, I know some dudes still can't live with that, but once you start really paying attention, you start noticing little nuances. You start dealing with them and say, oh, okay, I can discuss this one with this. I can go through this line of discussion with this group of women, but this other group, now I got to talk about something different. I can go hard and have a certain speech intonation with this group, but with this one it's not going to work the same. And it's just that simple. Like, if you, as a man, you looking for a woman, you got to think about first where you at. And like I said, if you encountering like women who ain't feeling you, only thing they had in common is you. So you got to say, well, okay, what is it? Maybe you might have to move up in social class, where you hang out, the things you do, or something. Then, or figure out wherever you at. You might have to move. You gotta look. You might not fit into whatever region you in. And even when people, you got the passport bros now, I still say you can't just go there, because a lot of dudes be getting played or even killed or something. You still need to learn the language. You need to learn the customs and everything. And even then, you still got to differentiate who's who. You got to differentiate who is who. But just the reality, you can't go and act like all women are the same. You're going to have different vibes. You got to figure out, okay, what group is she in? What her class is, what her religion is, what her subculture is. You gotta learn it, because a lot of times a dude might be rejected, or even with that so-called Pookie and Ray Ray thing. If you take an honest look at the women who really go for those type of guys, it's a social class thing. Even when you think they're dealing with a professional woman, ask that woman, find out where that woman grew up at. Never fails. Find out where she grew up. If she dealt with a Pookie, find out where she grew up at. And who the first guys, you'll find out she hood. I've met a few professional women. They were basically from the hood. So, and even them, a lot of times what they want, they still want a professional man with some hood in it. So, but see, all of it come down still to you. Not the women, you. The women who fits you. because that's the woman you're going to relate to. That's the woman you're going to fit with. So, anyway, though, like I said, I ain't doing these long like I used to and everything. All right? I ain't doing these long and everything. But I want y'all to really think about that. I want y'all to think about that. There's different classes, different types. If you really pay attention, like whenever somebody really says, well, they're all the same, I already know they don't get out enough. Or they stuck in one area, they stuck in one social class, one area, whatever. But if you traveled, you traveled, shoot, you've been on a college campus. Shit, you see it right there on a college campus. You can see even on that campus, you can see the differences, who came from an upper class background, who might have had to like work on scholarship. You can see it there. You can see it. I mean, the class thing is major. Any credentialed sociologist will back me up. Hell, they'll go deeper than me. Any credentialed sociologists know the difference in behavior and everything. You know? So you got to look at that. So you got to say, if you're having trouble with the women, then you got to look at yourself, because then once you change yourself, the women automatically change, because you're going to be going into different places and doing different things. You're going to start interacting with different types of people. And it's there. It's there if you want to look. So anyway, though, that's all I got for today. I'll get back with y'all. Peace.